The opinions and views expressed in Political Talk belong to its commentators and are not those of Nexstar Broadcasting Incorporated, this station, or their affiliates or employees.
Welcome to this edition of Political Talk this Thursday with Tom Santulli and Dora Leland. The coronavirus has had a devastating effect over this nation. Just this week, we learned that 100,000 people have died from the virus, and New York is continuing to reopen. As the nation moves to reopen as well, there is much debate on how to re-energize our economy. We're talking about that today. Let's begin with Dora. Dora, what do you think of the way that New York is handling re-energizing the economy and the nation?
Well, in the governor's press conference Wednesday and earlier this week, he really stressed the need that right now, every big city and state needs billions of dollars in federal assistance if they're going to get through this pandemic. And there's been a lot of back and forth. Cuomo has said over and over he's refused to become political. I'm not sure if that's quite the case, but there's a disconnect between Albany and Washington on how to fund municipalities, how to fund local governments and states. And I think that Mitch McConnell and Rick Scott of Florida calling blue state bailouts, and I know the president has repeated that as well. The governor took quite insulting, which I understand. I think that places hit the hardest by this pandemic are heavy populated, urban centers, which coincidentally also happen to be primarily Democratic. And I think to bring politics into this right now would devastate the economy, and it's also playing with people's lives.
Yeah.
I think that red, blue, and anywhere in between, we need to fund our cities and our states, because we won't have an economic recovery without that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Tom, someone who's dealt with a budget for many years as county executive, tell us a little bit about your opinion on this.
Well, there's no question that states need help, and New York is one of them. We were the epicenter for the whole COVID-19 debacle. Here's the problem, and I get it. We talk about politics, and we talk about Trump, and we talk the governor saying, let's not do politics. But, as we try to provide the money for these cities, and New York should get its fair share, you talk about politics. How about Nancy Pelosi? She puts these huge bills out there for COVID-19 relief for local governments and states, and then adds hundreds of millions of dollars for all her little pet projects, and comes under great criticism. So everybody plays politics. That's the problem, both sides, Republicans and Democrats. What we should do is, here's the issue. New York has a $177 billion budget. California has a $211 billion budget. Pennsylvania, right next to us, has a $36 billion budget. I think the issue is they just want to make sure these giant states, we have all these social programs and massive budgets, way more than anybody else, just can't be bailed out because they spend a lot of money. The money that should be sent to them should be to help them through the COVID-19 problems, for first responders, to help with certain projects. They spend a lot of money, but there is a fairness issue. There are huge spending states, and people are fleeing these huge spending states because the taxes are too high. So I get it. Somebody in a smaller state says, we don't live like this. Why should they be reimbursed at these levels? So there's got to be a compromise. It's got to be fair, and New York should get its fair share along with everybody else.
Dora, do you have a response to that?
Yeah, I guess I would just want to say that a lot of the states that they're calling blue state bailouts, states like New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, California, our own state of New York, these are states that pay in heavily in federal taxes, way more than they get back. And states like Kentucky, Mitch McConnell's state, or Florida, Rick Scott's states, they have been getting well above their share in what they pay in. So I think if you're going to talk about fair, you also need to look who's putting into the pot and who's getting out of the pot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that has to definitely be considered.
All right. Do you have any final comment, Tom, or are we good?
And Nancy Pelosi, there's the first person that ought to get back to reality and say, never mind filling your pocket with all kinds of pork money. Let's just be fair and distribute it fairly.
All right. On that note, we appreciate both of your commentary today. Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us for this edition of Political Talk. Of course, for the latest edition of Political Talk, you can always find it on our website under the title Political Talk, mytwintears.com. We'll be right back.